Welcome to Surf Studio. Surf Lifesaving is filled with so many fantastic people and inspiring stories, and Surf Studio is designed to share some of these stories from across the country and across all areas of lifesaving. On this week's episode of Surf Studio, we chat to Gary Driscoll from Lifesavers with Pride on the amazing inclusivity work that the group is doing in surf lifesaving around the country and the recent Pride in Sport Award that Gary won for his efforts. We chat to Rhiannon Brinckman from Southport SLSC about the recent Queensland Beach to Bush program that travelled to over 49 schools and taught over 8,000 regional and rural students beach and surf safety skills. And finally, we head to Tasmania to chat to the 2020 Tasmanian Lifesaver of the Year, Nic Canales from Penguin SLSC, who was recently involved in the marine rescue efforts off the coast of West Tasmania to save hundreds of beached whales.
Welcome back to Surf Studio. Today we're joined by Gary Driscoll, the Chair of Lifesavers with Pride. Thanks for joining us, Gary.
Pleasure to be with you today, Grant.
Tell us a little bit about your own journey in surf lifesaving. I believe you joined North Bondi Surf Club in 2007, which happened to be a 100-year centenarium of the organisation and the year of the surf lifesaver.
My flatmate wanted to join surf lifesaving, and I was pretty, I wouldn't say ambivalent. I was pretty happy to say, yeah, I'll come along. We were in a squad together, so I was a keen swimmer anyway. I played water polo in my younger days, and I thought, well, that'd be something a bit more relaxed, I suppose, than squad swimming and water polo. Give that a go. And I instantly loved it. Straight away, I knew that it was what I wanted to do. I got a lot out of it. And I just thought this is somewhere where I feel not only that I can give back to the community, but I can work with the club and the movement and make it a really good environment to welcome the community as a whole. One of the things I really like about surf lifesaving is its motto is not just let's reduce drownings, but it's to create great Australians. And across the board, we can create a better community by including everyone. And that's what I found when I joined my surf club.
And a part of that community is obviously inclusion and making sure equity and inclusion is across the board. You're obviously now the chair of Lifesaver with Pride. Tell us a little bit about that and tell us how it's changed from, I think there was around 70 members in 2007. Now you've got over 1,300 Lifesaver members. Tell us a little bit about the journey. Yeah,
Lifesavers with Pride was formed in 2007, the same year that I joined Surf Lifesaving, and they entered the parade. And the stories that I hear from the guys that ran it then was that they approached Surf Lifesaving because they'd been to the Mardi Gras parade and they'd seen the police marching and the police got a big cheer. And they'd seen the Army Reserves marching and they got a big cheer. And they thought, well, why aren't we out there showing the LGBT community that us Surf Lifesaving are a great fit for that community as well. We had 70 in the first year going into the Mardi Gras parade, and our idea was to say to the LGBT community, come to Surf Lifesaving. And that's a great opportunity, and we've done that for 10, 12, 13 years now. What we also want to do is we want to do a second, a parallel goal is not just saying to the LGBT community, come to Surf Lifesaving, but to say to Surf Lifesaving, let's create a better environment that is welcome for them. I don't want to see an LGBT person that says, I don't know that I want to go to Surf Lifesaving because it doesn't look like somewhere where I'd be welcome. So what I do now is I work with the clubs and we've become more of an advocacy group, not just going in the parade, which is great fun, but we work with the Surf Lifesaving, Australia and the States as well, to say, okay, let's do something around trans inclusion. Let's do something just around mental health. Let's do something around a number of other areas that we can say we want diversity right across surf lifesaving. One of the things that I always say is surf lifesaving will only be truly diverse and inclusive when us as the members accurately reflect those people that are on the beach. We want to see the multicultural, we want to see Indigenous, we want to see LGBT, we want to see grey hair, we want to see the youngsters, we want to see the disabled join us. We want everyone to be part of that group. And it doesn't matter what your forte is, like community as a whole, everyone can contribute to that.
And I think it's a very important point how you say that we need to be representative of the community that we serve. I think that's a really important point. Now, tell us about the initiative going interstate to the other states and a little bit about Pride in Sport and how important that's been in signing up to that initiative.
About 3 or 4 years ago, Surf Lifesaving Australia had a number of policies, and they decided collectively to just reduce their policies for administrative purposes. But what that meant was the inclusion policy was retracted. We felt that whilst, you know, Surf Lifesaving have a right to say that, we as a representative of the LGBT community and the other communities, if I can speak on their behalf, thought, well, we still need to be able to say to the broader community, we are an inclusive organisation. That's when we stepped up and became more of an advocacy group. So what we've done is we've started to engage directly with the states, each of the states, and yes, we go to Mardi Gras, and as well as going to Mardi Gras, there's a Mardi Gras festival, fair day, carnival. It's like a uni open day. There's all your different stalls, and so we go and participate in that. And there's the Rural Fire Service and the SES, and there's the Sydney Swans, and there's you know, Telstra, and everyone's there. It's huge. It's like the Royal Show in your local city, but it's targeted really for that niche demographic of the LGBT community. We're getting out to the states and we're meeting them and we're saying, hey, here's some ways that we can get LGBT participation. Another thing that we've done is we've created a Proud Beaches scholarship. So we're happy to pay for LGBT people to do their bronze medallion or their SRC. As long as we're increasing LGBT participation, which is our goal, then we're happy to pay for them to do their bronze medallion or their SRC. So we're happy to fund those people and say, yes, let's get into surf lifesaving, let's get that space growing, because again, until we represent everyone on the beach, we're not truly the icons that we want to be.
Tell us about the Pride in Sport Awards last night. I believe that Lifesavers with Pride were a recipient of a fairly prestigious award.
Yeah, we were nominated for 2 awards last night and we came out with one, which is great. Yeah, big glass, heavy thing.
Outstanding.
Thank you. Last night at the awards, we won the LGBTIQ Proud Role Model of the Year award in sports. So what that is it's someone who is a participant of a sport, but is clearly out, but is trying to demonstrate to everyone in that sport and across the board that our sport is a place where you can come and you can feel welcome and included and you can feel safe and you can be proud to be part of it. Hey, this is quite a big organisation and it's trying to get into all these sports to say, let's be more inclusive and progressive. And yes, we can see that the leagues and the crickets and the netballs are always going to get the attention. But when the smaller sports come up, then it's showing that they're just as inclusive and just as progressive and just as welcoming to the LGBTQ community.
And I believe you're a finalist in another award, the Proud Beaches Initiative. Tell us a bit about what that was for.
Yeah, the Proud Beaches Initiative we ran last year, and there were 3 or 4 elements to that. One was, as I mentioned before, going to the states and participating in the various LGBT festivals and engaging and getting surf lifesaving recognition in some of those. Another one is the scholarships that we've talked about before. So it's getting in touch with every surf club and also going through the LGBT media, because there's a network of media outlets as well, and reaching out to say, you know, come and join Surf Lifesaving, it's great. And what we also did was we sent a pack to every surf club in Australia last year, which had brochures, it had posters, it had checklists on what each club can do to be more inclusive and welcoming to the LGBT community. And the 4th thing we did was we held a Proud Beaches Forum, and that was held at the SLSA head office, and we had members come in from a number of states, 4, 5 states they flew in from. We held a forum that engaged clubs to see what they can do on a grassroots level to get LGBT participation in their sporting clubs. What we're progressing now is that this year we've just sent out another pack to every surf club in Australia. And it's got posters and it's got some stickers. It talks about the scholarships as well. But it's just simple stuff that the clubs can just pin on the wall, and it says, we're welcoming, we're safe, we're inclusive to LGBT people. One of the things that I was really proud of is that we connected Pride in Sport to Surf Lifesaving Australia. Here was an organisation, Pride in Sport, that works at these top tier sports to say, how can we be more inclusive? And by linking them with Surf Lifesaving Australia and with Surf Lifesaving Australia joining Pride in Sport, it has given an opportunity for the organisation to work with a professional body. So to have Surf Lifesaving Australia work with them has has shown that internally there are changes afoot. One of the things I say is, I've joined a club that was created because the club 300 metres down the road was Catholic and didn't want the Protestants to join. And while we think 100 years later, that's crazy, how did that happen? Well, it did, and that's what society was then. But let's look at what's going on now and say, yes, we can embrace the LGBT community and other communities, multicultural, Indigenous and so forth, and really get them in to be part of it.
And I think the initiative there of the Proud Beaches Forums being conducted in Surf Lifesaving Australia's headquarters just shows how far you've come in the last 10 years from where you described where you started off in 2007 or 13 years to now 2020. And I think, Gary Driscoll, it's a credit to you for all the work that you've done being a champion of change and inclusion and inclusive policies in surf lifesaving. Thank you so much for joining us today on Surf Studio.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Welcome to Surf Studio. We are very excited today to welcome Rhiannon Brinckman, who's here to tell us about the Beach to Bush program. Rhiannon, so lovely to have you with us today.
Oh, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, it's been definitely an exciting year with going ahead with our Beach to Bush program.
Rhiannon, this program seems to get bigger and better every year. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience?
I'm only just started coordinating the Beach to Bush program this year, but it was a very good opportunity for me. We were able to go across 6 different regions this year and over 3 days, and it was really exciting, especially because of COVID and stuff like that. We didn't think we were going to go, but we ended up doing it, and it ended up being a great program this year.
And can you give us a little bit of an idea of just how big this program is? The reach is incredible.
So we had 18 surf lifesavers go across the 6 different regions over 3 days, and we did see nearly 8,500 students with 49 schools in total.
Rhiannon, I loved following the Beach to Bush program on the SLSQ social media. It really did look like every day was a new adventure for your team.
Yeah, every single lifesaver that went in that program came back with good feedback. They absolutely loved it. It's the most amazing experience, and as per myself here, that trip was probably one of my experiences of my life. It was just amazing going out there and spreading the message of beach and water safety to those rural students.
And tell us, why are programs like Beach to Bush so important?
This program is designed to target those students in rural areas where don't get the message of that beach and water safety. So we go out as surf lifesavers, and we're there to deliver that important message of beach and water safety. And look, these messages and this knowledge that they receive from the program, they can take it onto if they're going to holidays in Queensland beaches, or they can use that in their inland waterways. So we find it really important that we do meet all those all that knowledge out there in those rural areas.
Rhiannon, tell me a little bit more about the sort of skills that the kids could be learning through these sessions.
So our Beach to Bush program runs for 40 minutes. It depends on how many sessions we do, but our normal session runs for about 40 minutes, and that goes through all our beach and water safe flags. We've got all our beach safe flags. We've got our safety hazards on our beaches. We go through from rip currents to marine stingers, and all that information they can take back to those beaches when they're visiting in Queensland on holidays. We like to go out to bush to target those students that don't also go to the beach often. So most of our students, when we go out there, tell us that they've never been to the beach before, and they use all that information that we provide them with our surf lifesavers, and they use that knowledge when they do go to the beach. It's also really important for in their waterways out there in the rural areas, that they use this water safe knowledge around there as well.
And one of the great things about this program is that you're visiting schools all across Queensland, no matter how big or small they are.
One of our schools that we saw in Toowoomba region in our Tour 5, we were seeing nearly 600 to 900 students in one school. Then we'll travel out and we'll be seeing 13 students at another school. So it really depends on the sizes, and they're all there to learn that important message, and it's there, and they come out with a smile on their faces all the time, and it's just amazing to see what we can do, as surf lifesavers can do it for those people out there that don't experience that too often.
Rhiannon, you have had such an amazing experience through this program. If there are any other clubbies out there that might like to get involved, what's the process?
An application put out where you apply for the role, and then we go through kind of interview process where we see if we have enough space and stuff like that. We do get a lot of applications every year, and then we go on the trip. So if you do want to get involved, it'll be on our website next year. Click apply and see how it goes. We were reflecting on the way back, and we said how amazing and how important we got that opportunity to go out and spread that awareness to people out in rural areas. And we said how amazing it was to be a part of such a awesome organisation, and that we can go and spread that message to those people out there. So every single tour that went on this year came back with pretty much that exact message, that they're just so happy and so thankful to be part of such a great organisation, and that we get the opportunity to go out there and do that.
And we've also heard that it is such a popular program that it's bigger and better next year.
Yeah, so it's really exciting. This year we have gone and made a decision that next year we'll be doing it over 2 programs, and we'll be visiting Beach to Bush twice. So yeah, definitely very excited for that, and see if we can visit more students and deliver that message.
Rhiannon, I love that so many people have been able to follow the Beach to Bush adventures through the SLSQ Instagram page. I have to ask about this barrel photo.
The photo is one of our favourite photos here in Surf Lifesavers in Queensland as well, and it's had a lot of attention from clubbies and friends and stuff like that. So the photo actually came when I was driving to our second school, the day of the Beach to Bush launch on Monday, and we drove past the barrel farm, and I actually went to my surf life saving friends that were on there on a trip with us, let's pull over and get a photo. So we pulled up and we're on the barrel farm, and we get on these barrels, and all of a sudden we see this car coming towards us, and they said, oh hey, we saw you guys from our house, and we saw these bright red and yellow uniforms, and we didn't know what was going on. And I said, oh, we're here on Beach to Bush, and we're here to spread the message of beach and water safety. And they went, oh, we'll push these barrels together. So the barrels weren't actually together. So they helped us push the barrels together. We got on top and got one of the most iconic photos of Beach to Bush that we can get. So yeah, no, it was really funny, and I love that photo up to this day. So yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Rhiannon, thank you so much for coming in today to speak to us at Surf Studio. It has been so lovely hearing about your experiences with the Beach to Bush program. We wish you all the best for the season ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Jenny. I'm very excited to come and speak to you today about Beach to Bush. I'm very excited for next year and what to come. And yeah, we always just put that message out to always swim between those red and yellow flags.
Nic Canales, thank you so much for joining us today on Surf Studio.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I was pretty excited when Montana contacted me and asked me to be involved. It's just another opportunity, I suppose.
And it's great to see someone sitting without a virtual backdrop, sitting there with the honour board behind you at Penguin Surf Life Saving Club.
Yeah, it's something we put in a couple of years ago now. It's just all the bronze holders throughout the years. It goes way back to the very start. So I thought it'd be nice to try and showcase that a bit in the club, because it's definitely something we're proud of.
Tell us a little bit about, Nic, the achievements that you've already had in surf lifesaving. You're the Chief Training Officer and the Lifesaving Manager at Penguin Surf Lifesaving Club, and I believe you've got over 60 surf lifesaving awards. Yeah,
so I've been the Chief Training Officer for the last couple of years now. Started off training and assessing when I was 16, I think. That's when I started off that award, and slowly got those qualifications ticked off and started training here at my club, mostly bronze and SRC to begin with. And now I've started doing some IB courses as well, and working on getting some ARTC stuff going too. So I've done that for, quite a few years now. So yeah, it's nice to see the board behind me. I look at the names from a few years back, and I can sort of say, yeah, I trained all those guys. So that's a nice little thing for me when I look at it. And yeah, Lifesaving Manager. So I've been on our executive committee for about 2 to 3 years now. I think this is my 3rd year as a Lifesaving Manager. I just sort of do what I can around the club. It's not necessarily just lifesaving. I chip in where I can, offer advice, leadership, that sort of stuff. Particularly if we have, NIPA parents and all that might step up in the club too and take on some roles that aren't always sure about their role or the club itself. So it's nice to try and foster that relationship too.
Like many lifesavers, you try to give back more than you take from surf lifesaving. Tell us a little bit how important it is being an assessor and a trainer for the youth members coming through to experience what you've experienced.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I suppose whenever I conduct myself or try and do anything in lifesaving or even in life too, I always try and make a difference. So, when I walk away, I can say, yep, I've made a difference there. I've made my mark and left a legacy, I suppose. That's my goal with whatever I can do, whatever I do, sorry. And yeah, just something to be proud of. So, yeah, I really do have a great passion in training and assessing and trying to develop our members, our younger kids, and the organisation as a whole. Going through, I had quite a good experience myself. I had an amazing trainer, so I just try and reflect that in what I do as well and give them the same opportunity that I did. And try and just promote them taking on whatever they can and support them in whatever avenue they like to go down, whether it's surf sports or life-saving. I'm always trying to deliver the best courses I can to get those guys, get their foot in the door and give them a good start in our organisation.
And I think that attitude has helped contributed to a few very distinguished awards that you've received over the last few years. I believe in 2018, you were Surf Lifesaving Australia's Youth Lifesaver of the Year. And in 2020, you were Surf Lifesaving Tasmania's Lifesaver of the Year. Well, what did it feel like to receive those amazing awards?
Oh, look, it's an incredible feeling. I'm sure, like everyone else, we don't do it for the awards. It is terrific to receive the recognition. It really does keep that motivation, that spark going to do more, to do better, that sort of stuff. But for me, it's not a reflection of just me. It's a reflection of my club and, my state and the organisation. Just try and reflect our organisation in the best light possible and my club as well. So, yeah, it's more of a not award for me, but award for everyone else type of thing. Just trying to do them proud and do my club proud. So, yeah, but it's definitely amazing to receive those awards and bring that home, I suppose, bring that back to my club.
And having had the experience of lifesaving a little bit through those awards on a national level, how is patrolling at Penguin Surf Lifesaving Club a bit different to the more high-profile locations like at Bondi and on the Gold Coast?
Yeah, so it's definitely not as busy down here. I think the water temperature and the weather in general doesn't help that. But, we do what we can down here. I suppose for us, it's a lot more engaging with the community. So not just staying at our beach because, we mightn't have the biggest numbers come to our beach specifically, but we patrol around our other local beaches. There's 2 or 3 directly next to our beach down here. You
mentioned the engagement with the community. I think probably the most high-profile community engagement over the last little while is the rescuing of the stranded whales off the west coast of Tasmania. I believe you were involved in that rescue through the Marine Rescue Service that you work with in Surf Lifesaving Tasmania. Tell us a bit about that experience.
Yeah, so Tuesday I was just at work and Surf Tas activated the emergency response teams here on the coast. So yeah, it was pretty much just a call for us to take some IBs down and some personnel and assist wherever we can. Heading down, I wasn't quite sure what our role would be and how involved we might be because obviously it's quite a different task. A lot of the guys down there already had training in whale rescue, so stepping into that environment, we were a bit unsure, but quite quickly we provided quite an advanced capability that they found invaluable. So, for example, quite a few times, especially in the first few days when the whales are still sort of coming into the harbour, they were in really inaccessible or unaccessible areas, places that only our IBs and our skillful drivers could get into. So through use of that and our skill, we managed to save a lot more whales that way, or prevent them from beaching themselves or re-beaching themselves again. Just every day we found more and more things to do, different ways that we can support the task and the mission down there. So, and then talking to the guys after, they really were quite grateful and very impressed that we were down there and what we actually, improved their capability. So that was terrific to get down there and help and use our skills in sort of a different way, I suppose, than the typical rescues. But it was also good to get out in the community and promote surf lifesaving and how we actually are quite adaptable and can operate in many different environments, not just on our beach doing rescues. So, yeah, hopefully we'll be able to utilise our skills a lot more in the future.
Canales, thank you so much for joining us on Surf Studio. It's members, young members like yourself, that mean that this 113-year-old organisation continues to grow from strength to strength. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thanks for watching Surf Studio. We would encourage you to get in touch with us to send through ideas or stories for future episodes. Contact the team via our social media channels or email us at surfstudio@slsa.asn.au.